Welcome, deviant drivers, to another episode of A Drink with a Driver. We're here. It's
Let's see if your internet gets us through this podcast.
oh, don't even start with me. Don't even start. You and your pink flamingo shirt.
Hey, I gotta, like I said earlier, I gotta put my mind in a good place. So it's about like vacation mode. I'm not going on vacation at all, but yeah, the flamingos make me happy. I was very disappointed that the lobby crashed yesterday. Um, I have a drink that will hopefully make me happy as well, or at least get me. This one won't get me drunk at all, actually, but nonetheless, I'm not going to show you my drink yet because we got a surprise for today.
We do. We do. We have another guest who is joining us. So let's all welcome Timid Umbreon. Hey, Timid.
Hello.
What's up? We're just going to call you T Deeds, and then just Deeds,
Mr.
and then just
Deeds.
T at some point. What is up, man?
Not much.
I mean, first and foremost, let's get the pleasantries out of the way. Hell of a job yesterday with your first win.
Thank you.
Bravo. For everybody watching, this was not staged. We didn't just scramble once he won and was like, hey, come on the podcast. This is actually already set up. So it kind of lined up very well. But happy for you. Obviously happy for Team Lambo. Congratulations on yesterday. That was awesome. So congrats.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
So first and foremost, we got to know the most important part is what are you drinking?
So I'm drinking a cider out of Boston called Down East.
Okay.
That my wife and I found on a cruise when we went to, like, it was a Canadian cruise. Tastes like I'm drinking apple juice. Not a beer fan, so.
No, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Merc, dare I ask, what are you drinking this evening?
The same thing I always drink.
Next, all right. So next podcast is the finale, right?
Yeah.
You
Well,
got to change it up. You got to give me something else besides Coors Light.
We'll find something else. How about that?
You know what? Me and your wife will make you a drink. Don't worry about it. We'll figure this out.
So Nürburgring is going to be a disaster. We could all do Irish car bombs.
So I'm closer to that this evening. I'm doing Irish bourbon cream made in Kentucky, though. This is Buffalo Trace bourbon cream. Dirksey probably knows all about this because he visited. It's a nice pour. Look at that. Oh, yeah, that looks good. So it's not going to get me drunk at all. But again, trying to take the sting out of what happened yesterday. The elephant in the room. So, Deeds, you got a hell of a mustache, dude.
Thank you.
I mean, I know that's the whole military thing, right?
Partially. It's really come in during the military. Like, a lot of folks have just recently kicked that up.
Yep.
But honestly, I think this is more because Travis Kelce and my wife's a Taylor Swift fan, so I'm not complaining.
Hey, understood, man. Rock it out. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, we know you're in the military. Maybe not everybody, but just tell us a little bit about yourself. Just a nice little intro.
Well, I know I go by T Deeds. That's my name. Username here, Timid Umbreon. I used to be big into Pokemon collecting, so Timid has actually got my initials in it, and Umbreon's my favorite Pokemon, which if you could see my desk, you'd see that. Been playing a lot of racing games since I was a kid. Started with like arcade style, Crash Team Racing, going to Forza with my dad. Then finally picked up a Gran Turismo, I think it was 5, whichever one was for PS3. I can't remember. Didn't really play that one as much until, I never stopped playing that pretty quick. But in the past few years, I've been wanting a more realistic sim racer, and GT7 was on sale. Or no, it just came out. That's what it is. Just came out, and I wanted something fun again, and then stuck with it, and then eventually decided to upgrade the controller to a wheel and pedal. So I got the Logitech G923, which is good. I want better.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's a good starter though. I mean, that's where most of us started. Not everyone can jump right into a full Fanatec setup, Cam. Um, it's you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? So it's good. Hey, I was
Yeah.
successful on it. You're successful on it. Zen's doing great on it. You know, there's quite a few Logitechs out there, so that's good stuff. Normally, we don't talk about people's jobs, but you have a badass job that you have to explain. You know, obviously, you probably can't give us all the details, but you know,
The best way I can explain it is Geek Squad for Starscream.
yeah,
Like
okay,
I've literally worked on both of the aircraft that were Starscream.
mm,
Um, but I work on the avionics, the electronics, the comnav, just the nerd side of it.
yeah,
Which with this airframe is a lot more than historically other airframes were. Like F-15s and A-10s can land with a wing. Those things are crew chief aircraft.
yeah,
This is a flying computer.
yeah. Understood. Yeah, the first time you ever said, "Yeah, I work on Raptors," I was like, "Oh my god!" Just a little kid comes out. Because just grew up around that stuff, and you did such a fantastic job on our liveries. I'm already done with the first class, by the way. um, you did such a great job on our liveries with the military background behind it. Giving me the A10, you had the Raptor. I know we won't disclose what we're doing for Coma.
And Silo had those SR-70. Well, can't
That's
forget.
we talked about that last time. That the irony of that, him being in the fastest jet ever created, and he's the slowest driver we have.
I was hoping at some of these night races he would just sneak up on somebody and scare them because his all black matte black car.
Right? Yeah. The problem you're gonna have a problem with is him sneaking up on anybody. So it's just not gonna happen. If you knew him, he's 6'3". His shoulders are like this wide, right? He's a big dude. So even in virtual world, he's not sneaking up on anybody. But so how did you come across our Discord? Did you find it in Reddit or was it on a lobby or where'd you find out?
So there's a bit of a story to that. We have Air Force Gaming in both the Air Force and Space Force. And on there's a guy who is a sim racer and a real racer. His name is Major Chris Walsh, which I'll talk about him later. He does iRacing and ACC and started with Gran Turismo, and he's the reason I decided to join Air Force Gaming. And then I've posted a couple times. I made liveries for every single race car for Air Force Gaming, so people could use it and rep it during Nations Cup or Manufacturers Cups. And then randomly, Dirksy messages me on, I guess it was Discord, and invited me to this group. And then a couple months later, after I was in it, I think it was Glovis hit me up and said, "Hey, do you want to race, or are you just here to hang out?"
Yeah.
So, and then
look at you now.
Then your team needed 2 backup drivers on the last race. And funny story about that one, I played a drinking game the night before and almost got blackout drunk. I don't know how I did any good on there.
What track was that? I don't even remember.
Red Bull Ring.
Okay. All right. Yeah. In the Lexus.
And Silo wrecked me on the second to last lap.
Yeah, he definitely he took you out 100%. He was trying. I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to be courteous and slow down because he had just knocked someone else off the track. He was trying to slow down to let them pass, and he did not do it in a. He did it on the driving line, if I'm not mistaken. And you were just happened to be right there. So welcome to the league.
Too, so it's not entirely his fault.
A little bit, yeah. It was. Yeah, I'll go tell him that right now if I need to. So, nonetheless, so we know about your rig a little bit. What camera angle do you typically find yourself driving in?
On the Lambo, it's hood. Or sorry,
Hood.
bumper. It's bumper. Every other car is hood cam.
Okay. Why the difference between two different cars?
Because I don't like driving at a 45-degree angle.
He's right about that. On the hood cam on the Lambo, you're looking down like this and driving out the top of the screen. It's really weird.
Although doing it for the season, I might switch to bumper. I like having the review.
For defending, I have to have it. I got to see the cars coming. I mean, it helps tremendously to defend and just kind of know your positioning. I just cannot. And if they put the radar, maybe worked it into the cluster somehow, I think that would work. But being all to the right, I can't look over there. My eyes are focused straight.
Well, in bumper, it's in the middle.
No, I'm thinking on the hood is what I'm
Oh,
getting
okay.
at though. Yeah, no, I run strictly bumper.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all bumper. Merc. I don't know which way you're on my screen, but Merc's on the hood. If his car leaves the start finish line. I guess we can just call it the finish line because he really never started. So, there's that.
Yeah.
All right. So you and I have a little bit of different one when it comes to strategies and things like that. I kind of wrecked you for our last race, but nonetheless, I'll go ahead and put that out in the air. How do you prep for a race coming into one of our weekends?
I usually will put every session will be an hour to where I'll randomly pick a lap to be safety car, and I'll try to just run the strat. With this new update, the tire wear is just more difficult because before the update, I would run those softs until they were just non-existent because I could. All-wheel drive car, it's great.
Mhm.
But let's see, with St. Croix, I think I put 2 1-hour sessions in with one of them was specifically aimed at checking how bad the tires were. And then the other one I did a safety car practice lap at, I think it was 12, which is great for, I know we did 14, but it still worked with my plan.
Awesome. And you're not writing anything down. You're just going off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I recently got diagnosed as autistic and it just stays here.
No, hey, whatever works. It does not stay there for me. I've got to have something to reference. Otherwise, yeah, I'm screwed altogether. So one of the questions we haven't actually asked in a while is if you had a dream garage, right? Any amount of money, what 3 cars would you put in your dream garage?
65 Shelby GT350.
Okay. Nice.
New Ferrari 296 GTB. I saw one of those at the race this past or 2 weekends ago. It was beautiful. Yeah. Oh, and the other one, I would have to do something that would still be able to stick with my job. So probably the Ford Velociraptor, which is the Hennessy upgraded Ford Raptor.
Yeah. Yep. Nice. That's an interesting garage.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
My wife, it'd be just Audis.
My wife's the same way. She doesn't own one. She's not going to own one.
She owns the Q5. It's wonderful.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's all she wants. Every time we pass one. Ooh, look at that one. Like, nope. I tinted her windows. It wasn't for to keep the cool down. It was to keep her eyes off everything else. Ooh, look, there's a store. Like, no, let's tint the windows darker. All right. And for our final question, the same question we ask everybody. I'm kind of excited to hear your answer because you're in your first season, right? You've only raced a few times outside of that. So who would you punt off the track?
So here's the thing. I'm going to be the boring guy. I strive to race clean. I don't want to be hit with an IR. Now, if there were no rules.
No rules, no penalties. You were the only one allowed to do it. Who would you punt?
Early in the season, I think it was Anatole. Talked a lot of smack about Lamb, but as the season progressed, I kind of want to say Hyphy because he's just kept it up. Like he is impressive.
Nice. I think that's the first one for Hyphy as well. You know what we need to do, Mark? Going back to Top Gear. Remember they had the leaderboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they do every podcast or every show. Yep. And we need to do that and just put people's names on it and see who has the most tallies.
That's a good idea.
We need to go back and watch them all and see. I think that'll work.
Yeah, I can put it like right here. It would be like a little poll.
That'll work.
You can whittle something up in your workshop for me.
Alternatively, if we ever start another 1v1, Saito could go against Anatole after last podcast. I can go against Hyphy, and we just knock each other off.
Yeah, there you go. Just tag team it 2 versus 2, and whoever survives, off of the teams. Yeah, that would work. That would work. But yeah, Mark, I don't have to make you anything. We can actually do that digitally, so we can keep it.
I think it'd be more fun if we had an actual piece made by you, like
No. Yeah, I'll get you a chalkboard and some chalk.
Little magnets.
I'll get you some more pens so you can write checks for our golf trip coming up. God bless. Somebody
Yeah.
help this man. All
Drop
right,
a check
so
on-
deeds up. Merc and I have known each other a long time, sir.
It's
So
nice.
you recently went to VIR, what,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, something like that? We saw some good videos, we saw some good pictures and whatnot. We were thankful enough to have Nismo on here. We went to Spa, which was the most recent F1 race, which is just still an incredible trip. But
Yeah.
I've never been to a VIR event. So kind of walk us through it. Like what happened? What'd you see? How long were you out there? Like the cars, like all that stuff.
So when I got stationed up here, first of all, I since VIR was on Top Gear, I wanted to go, and I found out that active duty gets in for free. So my wife had to pay for her ticket. She's completely down with going because she gets to see pretty cars. This year it was wet. Like we got there, it was raining. We set up, and it started raining harder. The GR Cups cars were qualifying and not going that great. This year I wanted to make it for the TC America race because Major Walsh he was in that race. Up to that race, he was undefeated. So we watched a few of these races, walked up to the paddock, which it's amazing. I'm sure every paddock is probably this way, but you get to see all these wonderful cars, the whole just smell environment. I don't know. It's just wonderful. Most of the races were actually pretty clean. The GT World Challenge had, how many did I wrote it down, like 6 to 8 safety cars throughout the whole thing. There was a brand new Corvette GT3 crashed right in front of me. The Aston Martin that crashed again right in front of me because right at the NASCAR bend is the trickiest part. When it's wet, it's even worse. We got to see one car crash really bad enough to get the driver sent to the hospital. He couldn't participate on Sunday. It was just a whole lot. With that, Chris Walsh, I said he was undefeated until that race. Because he was doing GT4 and then TC America, he qualified for GT4 but couldn't make it to his TCX car on time, which he qualified first for, but he had to start in the back. So he went from first to second, or from last to second throughout the whole race, and then it ended on a safety car. So the other guy won with an asterisk.
Glovis has one of those from this weekend.
SRO events are great. Like I was telling you guys earlier, the merch there is just wonderful. So
Yeah.
like I showed you guys this. It's the shirt that was for this event.
Yeah.
Beautiful car. This guy actually came first in Pro-Am during his race on Sunday. I got a poster from last year's, bunch of stickers, signed cards or whatever. I got 4 of my coworkers to come with me to this race, and this is the funny one I want to tell you. I got all this easy stuff like stickers and posters, whatever. They got a Pirelli tire.
What?
Yeah, they see some people pushing some tires over to wherever they're at, and they're like, "Dude, where'd you get those tires?" "Oh, right over there." Go over there. Can we have some? And they take 2 tires home. One's in the guy's trunk, and the other one's in another dude's lap. So they just both have 2 used Pirelli race tires for free.
I mean, it's a good coffee table if you put some glass on it.
These guys live in our dorms. I'm surprised they're going to be allowed to have that tire.
I mean, it seems like a realistic thing to do for the military. I'll just bring this home. It's fine.
I told my wife, because I'm going to go to the IMSA race next month, if I come home with a Michelin tire, I'll just keep it in my office.
There you go.
What would have been funny when it came back on base and they were trying to get through the guard tower, and he's like, "What, sir? Did you steal a wheel?" No. They gave it to me. I swear to God. Really? Who gave you that wheel? It's a race car tire. Like, no, I promise.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not the worst thing they've seen by any means.
I have heard some crazy stories, but that's for another talk.
Where's the IMSA race you're going to?
It's again at VIR.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I'll be going to the pilot challenge, not the actual big one, just because I won't be able to make it on Sunday. I'm hoping I can get a number plate with my number on it because we're using that in the thing to be kind of awesome.
Yeah, that'd be badass.
But I was going to also point out GT4 racing is much more fun to watch than GT3 racing.
How so?
Oh, so at least with SRO, the GT America and GT World Challenge, they're just small fields.
Hmm.
But the GT4 is a massive field. They're all racing cleanly, and it's so much more fun. And the GR Cup with it is also great to watch. Like spec racing is kind of fun.
Sounds like the league we run. GR4 is clean. GR3, we pull the plug, so no IRs happen. Yeah. So we'll get into that in a minute. But before we get into talking about the races and everything, what's everyone's feel about the update?
I don't think it hurt the Group 4 Lambo as much as it hurt others.
Yeah.
I think it did good for heavier cars.
Okay. All right. Any changes in the wheel? Did you have to change any settings?
Yeah, I did have to bump up my force feedback up to 7.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Mark?
same here. I took the force feedback, which my force feedback was always at 10. But I kept it at 10, but I turned the sensitivity up and then put it on auto the way Bad Rocket suggested because it was getting, I don't know what setting within the Fanatec it was causing it, but it was getting like it's kind of a mushy feeling. But once it got set to what was suggested, I do like the update. The handling physics cars part of the update I like. Not so much some of the other things, but the handling is much better. I think it's much more realistic, closer to ACC, which is of course closer to realistic, handling.
So
What
you're
about
telling
you?
me you don't like the floating feed up bug that everybody keeps seeing?
I know I saw those videos on YouTube. It's like it's just like hopping around up and down the road.
That is comical. I do enjoy that. So,
They're referring to it as the VW space program.
yeah, right. Space bug. There's pieces of the update that I do like. I did not change anything with my setup except for same thing. I bumped sensitivity and feedback up to 8 because I was running at 6, and I dealt with the rest. Honestly, like there's some mushiness for sure, and maybe it's the wheel telling me something, and I don't know what it's telling me, but there's definitely some changes to it. I will say the tire wear for the Lambo is a lot more even than what it is pre update for sure.
Mhm.
100%, because the tires beforehand, as we all know, were absolute trash. And now
Right.
I'm getting a little bit of a different wear pattern from front to back just because of weight distribution. But for the most part, it's close to even. Whereas before, like I had to put brake bias all the way to the front. I ran 0 brake bias for this race, and it was pretty even when it came to. I didn't want to mess with anything. Just with the new update, I didn't have a ton of time to test, so I was like, "Look, I'm just going to deal with what I have instead of trying to screw around with something I can work towards my settings. I'm just going to work with it with whatever it is." So
Right.
that's what I did.
Yeah, same thing. I was like, I'm not gonna go crazy. I'll just leave it,
Mm-hmm.
we'll tune it later on and see how it goes after this one.
Yeah, I was quite surprised to not see a strategy from you this week.
Yeah, it came out like in the moment. Like as soon as it hit, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna write something down and hope for the best. And we'll I guess a good segue right into it. Um I pit twice before the safety car. Oh, right up to the safety car. Yeah. So I went mediums for 7 laps. Our safety car was 12. I went mediums to 8, and then I went hard to 12. So I only did 3 laps on hard, and then I pit again because I could not make it from our safety car to the end of the race. I was gonna have to pit twice. But if I pit at the safety car and took advantage of that, I would only have to pit once. So that was my strategy, was to go to the back, and hopefully I could get through the pack, knowing everybody else is going to have to pit at least once. It puts me on a somewhat equal playing field when it comes to pit strategy and tires and all that. So I pit on 12, and then I was able to work my way up towards the front and then I got into second place, and c'est la vie. So dumb, so dumb. But the car felt great for this race, though. Like I up to that day, I never put softs on the tire or on the car to even test it. So, and Zen called me out. He did good. He called a 208.9, and that's what I hit. I hit it twice actually, back to back. I did 2 laps of a 208.9, and then I put it in the pits. So I was like, all right, we're good. Like, if someone beats it, that's cool. I think unless Besso screwed up his launch, maybe the Lambo got a little bit better off the launch because nobody passed me by turn 1. Preston did with a little bit of late break, and then I cut in. But for the most part, like, I was fully expecting the regular, hey, here comes the whole damn field as I'm just sitting here. And that didn't take place. So I don't know if something changed or if maybe Besso didn't get a good launch and people got stuck behind him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But
I don't either.
yeah, we know you don't. We'll talk about you in a second. But it was nice to be back out front for a little bit. It's been the whole season. I haven't been out front. Not at all.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I missed it. So I just took off, and then I saw I had like 7 seconds on Besso, and I was like, all right, we're going to fuel save a little bit, which I did. And then I went from there. I never really cared for St. Croix. But from the testing and the racing, I actually started to like it a little bit more. It's kind of like Catalunya. I actually hated Catalunya, but then getting into racing it, I started to enjoy it because there's multiple spots that you can pass. The last couple of races, there's nowhere to pass. Bathurst, very limited where you can pass. Alsace, very limited where you can pass. Like, it's been difficult tracks this season. So to have a wide open track that you can get around people, Glovis came over the mic because I passed like 3 or 4 different people. It was like, hey, I'm on your left, I'm on your right, on your left. And Glovis is like, someone stop him, slow him down. I'm like, I'm coming, boy. But yeah, so it is what it is. So, well, for GT4, they don't know what happened. So walk us through, you give us your color commentary since you got the wonderful colors behind you of what actually happened.
Okay, so in GT3 we started out, everything was starting as normal, and then we did qualies. That was all fine. Everything went as normal there, and then at the start of the race, I didn't have a great quali. I didn't really expect to have a good quali. I was kind of still getting used to the car and everything.
Where'd you quali?
It was like 12th or 11th. It was pretty damn close to last, if not last. So I was like, I was like, well, okay, it's no big deal. So, so I get on the line and it says, you start to go, and the car's just in neutral. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't get it to move. So I'm going through this, trying to check the controller. It's off. I turn it on, and I'm trying, and Zen and a couple of other guys were trying to tell me. He said, can you drive with a controller? And I said, well, no, I can't. I mean, I can't do it. He's like, no, physically, can you? And I was like, yeah, I pushed a button. I said, yeah, it works. He said, okay. And then he said, cycle your wheel on and off. So I cycled the wheel on and off. Finally, I got it going. And I was 2 minutes now behind everybody else. So I was like, okay, the only goal that I have at this point was to just not get lapped. So I was like, as long as
it came close too. I was blue flagging you for a little bit.
It did come close, because yeah, I was on the hard tire, and I knew you started on the medium because of the way you were pulling away. So I was like, I'm already in the hole, so he's going to start catching me. And then I saw you pit, and then I said, okay, I got to do my pit because I was out of gas. So I did a pit, and then the safety car came up. And I saw I was in the back. I never got a slow lap. I basically just caught the field up. And then as I was coming around, I saw Besso pit, and I was like, okay, if he's pitting, I'm going to pit with him because there's nothing to lose here. I'm already in last. So I pit 2. I got fresh tires, medium tires, fresh gas. I was like, okay. Caught the back of the field. I was like, this is pretty much just restarting the race for me. So I haven't really lost anything. It's no big deal. So I'm coming through, and we were towards the last third of the track, and all of a sudden my screen just froze. Like I could still hear the car and the wheel and everything. And of course, my car crashed, so the wheel started doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and I couldn't see anything. And Bad Rock said, "Yeah, I just saw you just launch off the track," and I was like, "Okay." Well, and I was figuring it was going to crash right there. And I said, okay. Everybody kept going. All you guys were fine. I was like, all right. And then my car started driving itself. So I said, okay, this is fine too. I was like, I've relegated myself to losing this race. There is nothing at this point I can do. So I was like, as long as the lobby is going to hold on for everybody else, then so be it. That, whatever. And you guys went for at least 3 or 4 or 5 laps, and I could, hear everything. I could hear all y'all's comms and everything we were talking. My
Your
car was doing.
your car was in the worst place possible. It was sitting on, you come off the bridge, you take that left, and then you take that high speed right to get on that long straight with the kink. You were right there on the wall, stuck on the left hand side that you try to get out to. Your car was right there. So as soon as I saw your car there, I announced it over comms. I was like, Merck's on the wall, and by the time I said that, everyone else was coming around. They're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
I heard the comms because at the time the car was just going nee, 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 nee. I was like, I have no idea what that thing is doing.
Yep, you were stuck right there on that little cut.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I was out of the rig. I was just I had the headset on, just kind of talking to you guys. I was like, it's doing its thing. The screen was still froze, still on the same screen that it was. So I said, I was kind of relegated, just kind of listen to you guys race. And I was getting ready to actually turn the stream on the computer. And I was like, I'll just watch it from here. And then all of a sudden I look over at the PlayStation and the screen and in the rig, and it goes error, and it flashed up a code. And I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. And then 2 seconds later, everybody, it was a collective, what? Oh.
12 guys at the
Everybody.
same time moaning. Yeah.
So, and that was it. We made it 42 minutes through the race. I don't know how far I made it. A little bit past the halfway point, because I think our safety car came at like 14
12.
or something.
12. But
12. So.
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, that's happened in this league. It's happened once. That's the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah, that is literally the first time it has ever happened in the hundreds of races we've done. And the interesting thing, it wasn't an internet connection.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people thought that it was. It wasn't. My PlayStation never cut off.
Yeah. No, we had comms with you the whole time.
Yeah.
So, well, did you get to race with anybody? Or go ahead, Dietz. You had a question?
I'm wondering if you caused that error because you became idle and it just kicked you.
I don't know. The car was still, it corrected itself. It had set idle, and then all of a sudden I heard it just kind of took off, and I was like, okay, he's gonna keep on driving. I was
Yeah, I don't know.
Mr. AI is just gonna do his thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if he was, when you passed me, was it like a pause screen where the car had the safety lights blinking?
No, it was not racing or running. You were stuck on the wall.
Like physically in it.
Yeah, you're not physically in the wall. You know how when you take that turn, you have the blue and white wall that kind of juts back towards the track?
Yep.
You were stuck on that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I did see on your mini map how eventually you did go the other way at some point.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, silver lining. No incident reports. Nobody can save anything. Nobody can report anything unless it was on the stream. And the only accident we have on the stream was the start. GT4 once again did better on the start than we did. I don't know what happened. All I saw was a hot dog car going across the track, and I think a Ferrari. Besides that, Saito was very pleasant and polite with jumping in my cab as I wrecked by myself, doing Lambo things. So, thanks, Saito. I thanked him today on Discord as well.
Well, the funny thing, when I had the bad start and I couldn't get going, the safety car held up too, and I think it was Arcane driving it, and he says, Merc, And I was like, yeah. He's like, you're gonna go? And I was like, yeah, I'm working on it. I was like, yeah. And then he was like, okay. And then he still sat there and
Yeah.
he says, should I go or should I wait on you? I was like, no, just
Just
go.
go, dude. Go.
Go.
Yeah. He did a good job with the safety car.
He
He did
did.
a good job. So it was definitely a fun race up to that point. I know some people were having a tough time on that track, and it is a tough track. There's so much potential for speed in the turns, but if you don't judge it right, it'll eat you up. Um, so I mean, some people audibly were having a tough time during this race. I was racing with Glovis for quite a bit. I bumped him on accident, let him back out in front, braking zone for turn one. I was catching him. I screwed up myself, and he kind of took off for a little bit, but there was clean passes. Again, it's such a large track, so it's easy to pull up alongside. You've got some long straights, you know what I mean? So I enjoyed it because I felt like I was in control of the car for once, except for that one time, as opposed to all the other races this season. So, and it showed because I actually got up to second place. So,
You also had a 7-second lead.
huh?
You also had a 7-second lead there for a while.
I did. Yeah, I did. And then the quali, like I said, the quali went really well too. So no, I was pulling away. I don't know. I think Besso started on mediums. I can't remember if he started on mediums or not. I think he did. But yeah, I mean the car just felt great there. Like I had everything down. I knew where to accelerate through the turns. Everything was going well. Until Merck didn't like where I was and pulled the plug. That's all it is.
And this led
bullshit.
to, as you mentioned, this was the first time in 5 years that we've done this league and hundreds of races. It led us to have an emergency meeting. I know that there were some disappointed drivers within the Discord, specifically GT3, with the ruling that we decided on. However, we came down with the ruling that we had completed 42 minutes, which means we had completed 2/3
Yep.
of the race, a larger than half part of it, and that we would call the race at the last position at the time of failure, or whatever, lack of a better term, that would be the finishing order. So that led us to some drivers who, based on some strategies and things happening, were upset about it. We understand. And we don't obviously plan on these things happening. These things do happen in real life occasionally. Races are red flagged. So we tried to replicate those rules in the way that they're done as close as possible. So in these types of ordeals, there's always somebody comes out ahead and somebody comes out behind. So
So run it down.
So the finishing order, and we will have to give Glovis, like you stated, his asterisk for his win. So Glovis took first with 20 points. Second place and fastest lap was Junkai. So well done, 3 fastest laps this season. Following Junkai was Texas Speed Stars with 13 points. Then Camzilla with 11. Preston with 10. Bad Rock Jones with 9. Chaotica with 8. Zen with 7. I know Zen was not happy about the ruling. Sorry, Zen.
He had a rough race too, though. Like
He did.
he did have a rough race, and he practiced so much. I hate it, like when guys are practicing a lot, and then just the day of race, it's just a train wreck. That sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah. Bad Rock said the same thing. He messaged me in a chat. He said the same frustrations. I was like, dude, I get it. You practice a lot. I get it.
Yep.
Following Zen was Floody with 6 points. Besso with 5 points. Then it was Dirksy, my teammate, with 4. And then me with 3 in last place.
All
So,
right.
so
So GT3 was a shit show. The restart was all right, and then the whole game crashed. So let's go to GT4 where we actually had some stuff to watch.
I'll start.
Deeds,
They were
Deeds. How was your race? Walk us through it.
they were terrified that was going to happen to us.
Well, yeah, all of us were really.
But I mean, for the most part, it was pretty clean racing. Hyphy again is a beast with lap times. I don't understand how. Like he qualified half a second above everybody.
Yeah.
Wasn't as big a gap as yours, but for the first, I would say until safety car, Hyphy and I were going back and forth. It was some of the most fun racing I've actually had. I would outbrake him, but he would somehow be able to catch me on the back end of the lap. And then occasionally Arcane would catch up and Huge Star would catch up, but somehow we'd still, stay where we were. And then later on in the race, I rewatched the stream just because I wanted to see how everything was. Thrasher and Lalo had a great back and forth between each other as well. Like that was awesome.
Yeah, so pole position was Hyphy and then Arcane, and then you took third, right?
Yep. Okay. Which again, really cool to see in Renault on the podium for quali. That was interesting.
So we were screwing around one of the nights. It was Preston, Arcane, a couple other guys were on there as well, and I think it was Saito was bitching about his car. So we're like, you know what? All of us are going to jump in your car, except for Arcane, who jumped in his own car and then just smoked us on fastest lap. And we're like, dude, what are you doing? We're playing over here, and he's out there legit racing. We're like, where'd that time come from? Yeah. So he was only 0.6 behind Hyphy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 0.4 up on you.
It was crazy. The safety car was also causing some issues because it was a little later than most people's strategies, but it was also early enough to make my strategy work better.
So what was your strat?
So I pit lap 8 because that's when I ran out of gas. I had no choice but to. Like I literally got into the pit with 0%. Then drive, do the safety car, then pit on lap 17 where I know I can finish. But at that point, we didn't know how much time it was. I knew how much time it was because that's how I practice. Nobody else calculated the gas rate. Either they put too much or they put too little, and like Arcane had to go back in later. Saito ran out of gas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's Anatol was he said he was doing fuel management from the safety car till the end. Like people were struggling with fuel again.
Yeah. What was your tire strat?
I started hards because I was able to, like the difference between my hards and mediums was like maybe a second.
Yeah.
Then I switched to mediums for the remainder of the race.
Yeah.
I thought about doing hards, not changing the tires, and then on lap 17, or actually no, on lap 15, which had been right after safety car, then changing to mediums, but I just thought that would be stupid.
Yeah. I tried that once. It didn't work. We were at Suzuka. I ended up in the back with Tex or something like that, and both of us were like, how did we get back here? We're like, our strategy sucks. It's either him or Nismo, but yeah, nonetheless.
I think there were some who were trying to do a one stop, but because it was safety car 14, it screwed them all up.
Yeah. Do you think it would have been possible if it had been a little bit of a later safety car?
Not for Lambo, no.
Or earlier?
Like I was.
So what'd you guys do? 26?
24.
24? Okay. No, we don't know what we would have done. I honestly think we would have ended up close to 27.
I was budgeting for 28 on fuel just with a buffer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I was as well. But who did you find yourself besides Hyphy? Who did you find yourself mainly racing with?
Honestly, it was just Hyphy because after my final pit, I did eventually, I easily passed Saito and Anatol, but that's because they were about to go to pits. So like they're tires were struggling. I had new ones, but.
So those last 3 laps, you're out in front, right?
Mm-hmm.
You start having flashbacks of Monza again.
Okay, so Curious Guy, he said, I'm gonna need our Huge Jar and Deeds to crash, and I was like, I'm not repeating Monza, dude.
Curious Guy usually shows up with some crazy comment. to
With
get
that,
everyone
we think we're going to develop a bingo board to just mark off things that people say.
going.
Chaotica
Well,
reminding us of a rule. Curious
yeah.
Guy telling someone to wreck.
Yeah, is Curious Guy still reminding people to change your oil and stuff?
Occasionally.
Yeah, okay. I missed that. Curious Guy needs to pop up in our lobby once and just say, "Hey guys, change your lobby," and then just sign out.
Well, he can always just be your safety car for the last race. Oh wait, we're not doing safety cars.
Yep. Well, we might try to. We'll see. It's gonna be a change. But I went back and same thing. I went back and watched the stream today, and on the last lap, you had first off the second to last lap, you had Arcane, Huge Jar, Anatole, Saito, and Thrasher
Mhm.
all coming across the start finish line together. I was like, holy shit! Like this is gonna get intense. And then it came down to coming in on that last lap. Like Anatole, Hyphy, and Rue were all within 0.3 of one another. Anatole and Hyphy were at a 10th coming across the line. Like it was close.
Mhm.
It was so close, and it was cool to watch.
I thank them for distracting each other so I can get my really
Well,
far.
that definitely helped. Is just there was so many cars. There was 5 cars racing one another right there. So it does allow you to get some distance when people start, having to defend. It slows you down every single time. So it definitely helps when you can get out front, and then hopefully that happens behind you.
Mhm.
I still go back to GP circuit. You were not with us then yet. Um, Besso is known to be a defenseman. Like he loves defending, and he's great at it. And Tex they were battling one another, and Tex is like, "Look, let's just get to the other cars, and then we can battle." And Besso's like, "No, man, we race now." And Tex is like, "No, I don't want to race now." It slowed him down and everything like that. And it was hilarious listening to it on the comms because it allowed everyone to catch up and everything like that. It was funny as hell. But it's true. You know what I mean? It gives you that opportunity to pull away. You start driving a little bit more consistently, a little bit safer. You know what I mean? But again, bravo, man, for your first win, first season. And I told you, I think it was the first time you and I raced together was on a fun night, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we did a race around Trial Mountain,
Mhm.
and I saw what Deeds was doing, and I didn't say anything to anybody. But he was available during the draft, and I picked him up. And nobody knew anything really about you, what your potential was, and I was hoping for what your potential could be, because I saw what you were able to do. But hey, it paid off. Like I mean, you've been
But
holding our team together for the most part because I haven't done shit. I mean, no,
what
Silo hasn't done shit.
what you don't know is you actually angered Glovis pretty. He was going to draft me.
No, yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware. He still has some maturity to get to. You know what I mean? Like he just got into the workforce. He's got a lot going on. Like but yeah, it's all good. Nah, nah,
So,
nah, nah, nah.
so talking about the finishing order of GT4, congratulations again, Deeds. Well done on your first win. That's always tough. It's like you've been second
Mm.
place what 3 times? 3 times this season, right?
Someone said it. He's always the bridesmaid, right? Not the bride.
Yeah, always bridesmaid, never a bride. Yeah.
I sent a picture because I've added to my livery every track map and every logo for the map, and every single one has what I did.
Oh,
So
nice.
it is 3 seconds, 1/3, and a fifth.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. So well done on your win. That's excellent. 20 points going right there. Huge Jar finished second behind you. Then Arcane in third, followed up by Thrasher. Thrasher's consistently right up there in the top 5 all the time, all season. He's been doing excellent coming up. Then Anatole, fifth, followed by Hyphy Honda. Wait a minute. No, did I have that right? Did I miss somebody? No.
You're right.
Yeah, I was right. Okay. Then Hyphy Honda, he had fastest lap of that race. Then Rutaz with 8 points, Lalo with 7, Devin with 6. Then it was
Slug.
Slug with 5 points, Kuroskai and Saito, followed by Saito, then Silo, then Golden Oracle. So
leaderboard wise, it doesn't look close, but it's extremely close. So
yeah,
it's so close. So Hyphy is at 89 in first overall, who's missing Nürburgring, correct?
That's what he said.
All right. So he's going to post a goose egg. That'll be his drop.
Mhm.
Right. So
Yep.
he'll end up with 99 points at the end of this. Huge Jar at 84, 5 points behind, and you're in third with 79 points. 10 points away, knowing Hyphy's not going to be there. Huge Jar, you're only 5 points behind. Are we practicing yet?
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If Deeds were to win, right?
Yeah.
That would tie him with Hyphy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But if I came first,
Yep.
and Huge Jar came in second, we would all tie with Hyphy, unless one of us got a fastest lap, which I don't know if will be possible at this track.
Right.
No, I don't think so. Unless somebody can, I don't think the fuel is going to allow anybody to make it 3 laps.
No.
Not unless your strategy is to fuel save massively for a time loss, simply to get that 1 point, which I don't think is going to benefit you enough to be worthwhile.
No. No, but I mean it can end in a 3-way tie.
Yeah.
And then
So
we go to total overall points to break that tie.
Yeah. So let's talk about the leaderboard. So first up, we'll start with, we didn't go over the leaderboard for GT3. So in first in GT3 with 67 points is Glovis. This is close as well over here. Zen is second with 66, only 1 point behind. I am third with 62, followed by Junkai with 52. Congratulations in the Lambo top 5. Well done.
I'm coming for your ass.
Well done.
It's going to be such a shit show at Nürburgring with this car. You know what? You know, the whole reason I was able to do well here, what is this track missing?
Elevation.
And curbs.
And curbs.
Yep.
Which there's a lot of that at Nürburgring. Fifth is Besso with 50 points, followed by Camzilla with 49. I mean, these points are very close, guys. Then Dirksey with 46, Floody with 44, Preston also with 44, Chaotica with 42, Bad Rock Jones moved above relegation with 34. Below relegation line is Texas Speed 31, Berman with 29, and Comacopo with 3. So that is GT3 standings as they are right now. Very close. I mean, it's anybody's ball game still going into a very difficult track. And moving over to
GT4.
I'm going to do GT4's standings right now on the leaderboard.
I'll sit back.
Hyphy Honda with just have a drink. Have the rest of your.
You better hurry before your shit turns off.
Yeah. So Hyphy Honda is in the lead with 89, followed by Huge Jar with 84, T Deeds with 79. Those are all 3 are above promotion line right now, so we'll see which one, how this wraps up at Nürburgring to determine who's going to get the free pass into GT3. Fourth is Rutaz with 50, Anatole with 46, Thrasher 45, Arcane 43. Saito is 8th with 39. I'm sorry, 41. Lalo with 39. Sully rounding out number 10 with 31. Devin with 27. Kuroskai 12th. Kuroskai's ahead of Silo. You got to.
Oh, dude, don't worry about it. It's covered.
Kuroskai with 26. Silo 14. Golden Oracle with 4. So, So that is where our leaderboards are for GT3, GT4. Points are very close going into Nürburgring, which is not going to be a simple track in any way, shape, or form. This is going to be a 24-hour cycle, right?
No,
Are we sure?
Yeah, they
it's
said
not written on the schedule as that.
No,
Chaoticus will be 4 times time
four
tomorrow.
times.
That race. Yeah.
Mhm.
Missed opportunity there.
With
I assumed we were doing the 24-hour cycle.
That's a missed
Um,
opportunity.
there
got
is
lost in
potential
print.
rain here too.
Huh?
Shh.
Yeah.
This is going to be hard enough on us,
I
man.
know.
Like, I know you're in an all-wheel drive car, and that's going to benefit you tremendously, but we're a team here.
It won't. I don't know if it'll benefit me here.
Oh shit! If it rains, I'm gonna park off the side of the track, and I'm gonna tailgate with Floody. And I know Glovis will join because he hates his track.
So where we're sitting with teams. So these points are fairly close too. This is the closest season I think we've had in all of our seasons since we've done GT. Alfa Romeo is we can call it right now. They are with 204. There's
Congrats
no
to
catching
Team
them.
Alpha.
Congrats. Well earned. Job well done. Team Chevrolet is second with 167. Ferrari not far behind with 160. Jaguar, after an abysmal finishing order that we just could not get to go our way this past weekend at 154. Followed by Lamborghini with 145.
Oh shit! 9 points. Can we surpass you? And I beat you in the rankings too. That's my goal for. I got to cut this off. I got to go practice.
Peugeot with 127, Renault with 121. So Junkai's goal is to take himself and Lamborghini past me.
It's Cinderella story, man.
Jaguar.
Like this car is not designed to win anything. I'm gonna beat your ass with it. That's the hope. Although you know this track very well and you know that car very well, and this car is gonna suck here. So there we go. If you see a car outside of the carousels, both of them, that's this guy.
It also seems with this update, these walls are pretty magnetic.
Yeah.
It's going to warrant some drivers need to practice this because yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least.
I'm interested to see Besso here. He's
Corvette.
always talked about it. We've never raced him here. He missed the endurance for it, and he missed our first season when we did it as well. So we're gonna go unplug his router.
He's done a couple. He's done a couple Sunday Cups on the Nürburgring.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Not the same.
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
same.
This is tough.
So everybody's got their practice that they need to do for Nürburgring. There's plenty of that to go, and like I say, we just see what the weather decides to do, and hopefully within the next 2 weeks, whatever glitch or issues that cause Volkswagens to sink through the road and lobbies to drop and all kinds of other things that maybe PD can I don't know, maybe work on a few things. These are not trivial matters, so.
I'm sure our mole is working on it right now.
I really hope so. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Deeds, we appreciate you being on here 100%. It's been great to have you on Team Lambo. I wish I could have done better for you.
The truth be told, I'm going to miss this car.
I'm kind of feeling the same way. Like, I was taking a shower this morning and I was like, I could almost do this next season, but I won't do that to my team. Sorry. No offense.
Shower thoughts with Junkai.
Exactly. But there's just something to it. It's the complexity of having to drive this car. It's crazy. A matter of fact, though, if you look at the relegation and promotion line, there's only 3 cars to choose from right now. And that is Lambo, that is Ferrari, and the 4C. So
that's a good point. A very good point. And they're gonna have to pick GT3 cars. So
Yep.
One more thing, guys, before we leave, I do want to go over real quick while we've got everybody on here is in regards to safety car for Nürburgring. In the GT3 announcement section, there is a announcement post that was done last week or so, about 10 days maybe, by Junkai in regards to safety car. I'd encourage you to review that. This is going to be different than our typical safety car format, just simply due to the length of the race. We'd take forever to get around one lap of Nürburgring. So the safety car will start at turn 90. It's insane that you even have to use the number 90 on this track to number a turn. But that is the turn that ends, that brings you right on to the very long straightaway. That will be where safety car will start. It will continue to run all the way through after turn 13 exit, which brings you back onto the ring from the GP circuit. So there is a diagram in there that spells it all out, shows where everything is. This might potentially be a virtual safety car, although we are trying to accommodate for the actual safety car to be there, just to set the pace and make things maybe not quite so difficult on the lead driver to have another duty to worry about. But all safety car rules apply while we're under safety car. The pits will not be closing at any point during this race, so you can pit anytime you want to. But all the other safety car rules apply. No passing, all that kind of stuff. Slow to 65 to or 60 to 70 miles per hour, somewhere in that range. It's printed on the bumper.
The only difference being, the main difference being, is you cannot pass anybody on the restart until after you pass turn 13.
Correct. Turn
You cannot
13.
pass anyone until after 13.
And you will see the diagram in there, which will give you a very good indication. So, so that is posted in there for everybody to look at and practice with.
Well, Deeds, final thoughts?
It has been a really cool season. I appreciate you for drafting me on your team. And I still forgive you, Mercury, for abandoning us.
We could have been all Lambo, Team Lambo, Family Lambo tonight.
All three of us would be crying right now. I mean, here's the thing. You've run out of fuel once in the Jag, or twice. Twice, right?
Twice.
Yeah, it would have been easily 3 times in Lambo. You would have run out. It does sound so good, though. God, it sounds so good.
Even the group.
And I honestly, I didn't anticipate the amount of traction you can get in this thing on turn exit. That's where I've really started to pick up speed with this thing, is getting used to handling it for the most part, unless I was looking at me on the camera, is the exit speed and how quick you can get on throttle. If you can time the understeer properly, like, it sticks. It does stick. But damn the braking. That's the hard part. Braking's the hard part.
Well, you have to do a lot of braking at Nürburgring, so
God.
I wish you all the best.
I know. Yeah, I know. I've tried twice and I've successfully made it around 0 times without spinning out.
Done it twice out of the 7 laps, and it's just, but those are lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, to be fair, I heard the exact same thing about Bathurst, and you took fastest lap there.
I took fastest lap, but I was a train wreck the whole rest of the race. Where did I finish? No, screw that. I was like the worst race for me. Bathurst, I scored, where was I?
You got 8 points.
So yeah, and that was fastest lap. I took 7 technically. And technically I did worse than that. I got a little bump from a IR situation, unfortunately. So I actually did worse than that. Bathurst. Go back and watch the film. I hit every damn wall on the way down on that damn thing. God, it sucked.
Are you gonna take fastest lap at Nürburgring? Probably so.
No, it's not gonna exist. You're gonna have an out lap and a pit lap. Simple. Out lap, pit lap, out lap, pit lap. Someone might get it on their last lap.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yep. Depending on fuel. Not this guy.
Practice up, everybody. We will see you for the next drink with the driver after Nürburgring, which will then have the final tally of where everybody finishes, and we'll be able to announce the winner. And
We already have a guest lined up too.
That's right.
It's gonna be a good one.
It's not me.
It's not Deeds. I'll give you that. It's not Deeds. It's not Deeds. But we'll be crowning you, my friend.
We appreciate you joining us, Timid, and we will see all of you next time on A Drink with the Driver. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Well done.
Well, good thing you sent us the Sunday Cup leaderboard, because here, let's do this in post, right? So Chaotica's win. Oh, dude, you're not even give Chaotica credit that he's winning. That's so shitty of you.
Well, you started wrapping it up. I was gonna go, and you're like, man, Deeds, I'm glad you came. I'm glad that you were here.
No, I was wrapping up the GT3, GT4 discussion. I knew we were gonna keep going.
Okay, we're putting a bow.
But this is we're in post credits now. This is
yeah,
cutscene from the Avengers movie. So Chaotica's at 238. He's winning. Besso's at 215. Merc, you're in third. How the hell are you in third?
What is that supposed to mean?
With 184? You missed the whole, like, what the hell? Glovis is in fourth at 167. Dirksey only 4 points behind. Ooh, 163. Rue at 142. We got Thrasher at 138. Preston at 119. Saito at 71. We got Berman at 40 points as a reserve. Cam at 23. Cam needs to do better. 23 points is embarrassing, Cam. Huge Jar is missed every single race but one, and is only 1 point behind Cam, which is, again, embarrassing, Cam.
He's only done one race. He did the first one.
Huge Jar, you need to show up for the next race. Bad Rock as a reserve is at 5. So he's literally ran just one stint of that. So good job. Will I be joining this race? I hope to, because I created this one. It should be fun to run around these short tracks in a V10 car. So
that'll be fun.
What?
I don't know if it's going to be fun.
Yeah, of course I'm going Lambo. I told everyone if I go, I'm going Lambo. Like, I'm not changing it up now. It's pointless. I'm not racing for anybody. I might be able to beat Bad Rock or Cam. If I come in there and run the wheel on you guys and win all 3 of these, screw Nürburgring. I'm gonna start practicing for this shit, where I have a chance to win something. What did you get new? You got a Nürburgring thing back there?
It's not new. I just moved it, basically because this shelf is this one is loose. And I noticed it today that everything had slid and was holding on like those little quarters in the in those arcades where you try to push them off the edge. Yeah, everything. I was like, oh my God, that could be bad. So I gotta figure something else out.
Who hung that shelf?
Me.
Well, explains a lot. Let's roll. Let's do this.
Would you be interested in the ACC race?
Who?
You.
I don't have ACC.
It's $11.
It's on sale right now.
Come on, Merc. Hit me up. Give me $11. Send me a
I'll
check.
mail you a check.
You can use the better Lamborghini.
Is it $11 right now? I'll buy it on my phone.